Entropy is the principle that everything in nature is trending towards disorder, disarray, disrepair. Leave a house, a garden, a world, or even a universe untended, and it will progress to its demise. This is true not only of nature, but also of our nature, our fallen human nature. We trend, if left unchecked, towards our own destruction. Corrections to this trajectory oftentimes lead us from one extreme to the other, like a pendulum swinging back and forth. From one season of our life to another, from one generation to another, from one political party to another, we seem to go from one end of the spectrum to the other. A reactionary response in an attempt to balance out the scales. You may find a rebellious child growing up to become an overly strict parent. You might find what one generation holds to be of preeminent concern to be scorned by the next. You might find the position of one political party to be decried by the other out of hand. The farther one side pushes to its end, the farther the other side tends to push to its end, until both of them self-destruct by falling off the ends. A friend once sent me a video about a ballerina. When the video starts, you see the ballerina from the waist up. She is perfectly poised. She is elegant, stable, self-controlled. As the video pans out, you realize that she is balanced on the toes of one foot on half of an exercise ball. The rounded part of that ball touching the ground is causing it to constantly rock. The only way that she is able to remain stable is to remain constantly in motion. Her ankle is always moving in ever so subtle ways to counterbalance the ground tilting and rocking beneath her. The way we stay safe from falling off the ends is by standing in the middle. Virtue, after all, stands in the middle between the extremes where the vices are found. But standing in the middle doesn't mean standing still at all. Our Christian faith is oftentimes meant to be like that ballerina. Maybe there are instances in which we begin to feel the ground tilting and rocking beneath our feet, stirring within us a kind of fear that we are going to fall off of one end or the other, and causing us to overreact, to overcompensate, and therefore shifting the danger from one side to the other. This is a danger perhaps that many of us experience when we look at the world around us, or the church around us, or perhaps even people around us. There are those that find themselves on one extreme, believing that all we need to do is put in place the right leader, or maybe we just need to say the right thing, or maybe we just need to encourage people to try really, really, really hard to be kind and nice to one another. And then we can establish the perfect utopia where everybody gets along. We just need to take full responsibility, take the bull by the horns, and pick ourselves up by our own bootstraps. Perhaps there are others that see the same world, the same church, the same set of people, and they find themselves on the opposite extreme. They're content just to take refuge within their own little fortress, and from a distance watch the world burn itself to the ground, absolving themselves of every responsibility. This may be true not only of the world around us, but maybe also of the world within us, the direction that my own life is taking. There are those that think we can do everything, and those that think we can do nothing at all. Those that think we can establish a heaven here on earth, and those that think that heaven is only some far off and future reality. We are to avoid the extremes, to avoid the vices on the end by remaining poised in the middle. Today we celebrate the solemnity of Jesus Christ, King of the universe. And we are poised between his reign above us and the reign that he has placed below us. In our first reading, we hear all about what he is going to do for us. He is going to seek. He is going to shepherd. He is going to gather, and he is going to heal. But then in our gospel, we hear what we are called to do for others. We are to clothe. We are to feed. We are to welcome. And we are to visit. As Christians, we are caught in this constant tension. We are in a balance between heaven and earth, between God and man, between saints and sinners. We live in between an already and a not yet, in between presumption and despair. We are called to live in hope. And it is this hope which gives us strength to persevere. Because living in a constant tension, living like that ankle of the ballerina, constantly in motion in order to counterbalance and counteract the ground that seems to be constantly shifting beneath our feet, is utterly exhausting. And we may find ourselves wanting to give up and just to give in to the entropy, only to increase farther and farther towards disorder, disarray, and disrepair. But in fact, we are called to remain in that tension, to remain in that constant motion in order to balance things out, so as not to go to one end or the other, ultimately to fall off the end. Jesus Christ is King of the universe, but he invites us, even demands us, not only to acknowledge his reign over us, but to participate and to share in the reign under us, to govern our lives in the world that he has placed within our responsibility, governing all things according to his will, but also trusting that his will is for our good, that it is meant to lead to our happiness, our satisfaction, our fulfillment, that it is meant to lead to human flourishing, because in fact he is a benevolent king. He is a good, good father. We are to pray as if everything depends upon him, but we are to work as if everything depends upon us. For the God who made us without us will not save us without us.